Additional information and potential conferences. This PowerPoint presentation will provide students with potential conferences where they can present their literature review, pieces of their dissertation, or other research that they are participating in. There are a few conferences that are specific to Houston Baptist University. I will not cover all of the conferences from Houston Baptist University, but a few that may be good potential fits for presenting topics related to your field of study, topics related to your field of work, or topics related to your field of research. The Teaching and Learning Symposium. This conference is sponsored by the College of Education and Behavioral Sciences through the School of Education. This conference traditionally occurs one time per year and includes posters as well as presentation sessions where students can present work or partial work that they are working on towards their dissertation or professional topics that would be useful for teachers or those in the field of education. This conference traditionally occurs on a Saturday morning. The Celebration of Scholarship. This conference traditionally happens on an annual basis and is supported by a university committee and is a university-wide celebration of scholarship and includes undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral students, and in the past has included sessions that are both poster and presentation sessions. This conference traditionally occurs in April. Students who submit to this conference are generally required to have a faculty sponsor who works with them on their research that they are presenting at the conference. There are also opportunities for your presentation or your poster to be judged and to win awards for best poster presentation or best session presentation. This conference generally happens after Easter and registration generally starts early March or the end of February. The Excellence in Counseling Conference. This is a conference geared towards counselors, but covers a wide variety of topics. During this conference, students are allowed to do a poster or a session presentation. This conference is sponsored by the College of Education and Behavioral Sciences through the Behavioral Sciences School. Generally, this conference occurs twice per year, once in January and once in May. Again, these sessions occur on a Saturday morning and are a great opportunity for students to gain practical experience and skills presenting on topics related to mental health, counseling, psychology, or education related to these fields. Regional conferences. In addition to the conferences at Houston Baptist University, there are several conferences that are regional in nature. The Southwest Education Research Association Conference is a regional conference that occurs usually in the Texas or Louisiana area on an annual basis. Proposals are generally taken in early fall, and the conference usually occurs in about the February timeframe. This conference is very friendly for graduate students and is a great way to connect and learn about research in education. Several of our students in the past have presented, as well as our faculty members, and it's a great place to start gaining exposure and presenting research. This is a conference that I highly recommend. The Texas Counseling Association allows for poster sessions and presentation sessions. Generally occurs in the Texas area, vacillating between the major cities Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, and San Antonio. The conference generally occurs in November, and proposals are usually submitted at the end of spring. This is another conference where poster sessions are particularly friendly for graduate students. Christian Counselors of Texas similarly occurs in Texas. Membership for graduate students is free, and they have been constantly expanding the number of sessions that they offer. In some years, they offer poster sessions, and other years it's just presentation sessions, but again, a great conference that is friendly for graduate students. The national and international conferences. Society for Research on Adolescence. This is a conference that happens every other year. Generally, it occurs on an even year and is one of the premier conferences for research related to adolescence. It's a gathering of cross-disciplinary professors, researchers, and graduate students, and generally attracts some of the top names in the field, and is a smaller conference because it happens every other year, but allows students to have great access to some of the premier names in the field. Additionally, many government organizations and grant officers attend this conference and offer sessions to assist graduate students and early career faculty members with writing federal grants. They have poster sessions and presentations. They also have some really great workshops related to conducting research and research methods and designs. In one year, I attended a session on mediators and moderators. I just was able to do a whole 3-hour session on how to conduct research studies that included mediators and moderators. I think I've also seen sessions on structural equation models, meta-analysis, and different kinds of things like that. So it's a great conference for research. The American Association of Christian Counselors. Generally, they have a world conference every other year in the Nashville, Tennessee area. At the World Conference, they have poster sessions and presentation sessions. Additionally, on the off year, they have a national conference. It's been in Dallas a couple of times, and they tend to be friendly towards graduate students as well. The American Education Research Association. This is the national association that pairs with the Southwest Education Research Association, SERA. And so it's a national conference. Again, it's friendly for graduate students. Sessions are harder to be accepted, but they also do poster sessions. And it's a great organization to be a part of if you think that research is going to be any part of your career during grad school or after you're completed with your graduate studies. And this conference can occur anywhere in the United States. Society for Psychological Studies of Social Issues. This conference branches out a little bit and lets you explore some of the issues related to social issues. They have poster sessions and they also have sessions for presentations, and they are also friendly towards graduate students. The Society for Personality and Social Psychology. We have a faculty member who presents at this at a regular basis, and this conference is very friendly. One of the highlights of this conference that I really found effective and useful is that they allow their presenters to present virtually, so it saves a lot of money for travel, but then you don't get the conference experience. You can also do posters or presentation sessions for this conference. Council for Exceptional Children is related to special education, disabilities. Not only do they have this big national, international conference that occurs on an annual basis, that's a huge conference. They also have many sub-conferences related to their different divisions and chapters. For example, the Texas CEC had conferences on an annual basis for many years, as well as DEC, the Division of Early Childhood, has its own standalone conference. So there's a lot of options with this organization, from posters to roundtables to presentation sessions. There's just a lot of variety and different ways to be connected with. The Institute for Business Intelligence Information. At first glance, this conference does not seem to be one that fits well with education, but they actually have several different conferences that occur simultaneously, and one of the conferences is geared specifically towards education. This generally happens in the Houston area around the Houston rodeo season, and it takes place a little bit north of Houston in the Woodlands area, and it's a very friendly conference for students producing research or presenting information related to their research. One of the things that I find most helpful about this conference is in addition to being accepted to the conference and being able to do a presentation, with your conference acceptance, they also give you a preliminary acceptance to write an article for their journal. So you get both a presentation and potentially a publication from this one conference. And there are so very many more conferences. This is in no way an exhaustive list. This kind of focuses on the research side of things and places that are friendly for graduate students. But virtually every organization has a conference of its own, and there are many, many happening at all times around the nation. I found it very helpful to keep a spreadsheet of the conferences that I'm most connected with and to figure out the timeframes for when proposals are accepted, when the conference occurs, and where future dates of the conference will occur. And in many cases, I've been able to present at national and international conferences in the Texas area because I was able to time it correctly where I submitted to the conference when they were going to be in Texas, which saves a lot of time and travel and expense, but allows me to gain access to and put on my credentials and CV and resume some really excellent conferences. So it's worth your time to spend a little bit of time thinking about conferences. I would recommend that you start small. Houston Baptist University conferences or regional conferences are a great way to start, and then build from there. I usually recommend my students do a poster of their research, then do a presentation of their research, and then publish their research. And through each of the phases to gain feedback from people who attend the poster sessions, the presentation sessions, and feedback from the editors of journals where you submit your articles. That way, one research project could potentially yield 3 different lines on your CV: the poster presentation, the presentation session at a conference, and a publication.